What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this channel that's all about architecture, engineering and construction, and where we also are all about bettering the African narrative. Okay, so those of you who are watching this video, you are most likely to be conversant with most of the previous things that we have actually been talking about this house. Okay, so today I'm here to literally discuss for you the different costs that we've incurred at this phase of construction. Of course, in one of the previous videos we gave you a breakdown of the costs that we have actually incurred in building this house, at least up to the ground, up to the foundation level, okay, finishing the ground slab. So over the last 3 weeks we've been doing the walling, and also you can see we have also finished casting the slab on the top floor. Okay, so literally now we want to just combine the costs of doing the walling for the ground floor and also the ground slab. Okay, so without wasting a lot of your time, I can take you around to the slab so that you can actually have a look at it. Okay, as you can see, this is not the entrance of the house. Okay, the entrance is just over there on the other side, but we're just entering from this side. Okay, so I already took you through all this in the previous video, so I'm actually not going to do that again. Okay, so heading to the slab. Of course, the other time when I was showing you this house, we had actually not finished the parking lot over here. As you can see, the columns for the parking are already erected. So if we didn't have these poles here, I would actually have parked my car here, but unfortunately we still have a lot of poles there. Of course, we can't pass here because you can see the poles that are actually holding the slab are still doing their function, but we'll definitely have to head to the interior of the house. So now, as you can see, right there is literally the parking. So I'm actually going to enter through the back porch. Okay, so entering through the back porch, as you can see, I was not able to enter through that side because you can see it's really congested. Okay, of course, the first thing that we see here is actually the vault that is going to hold the fridge. Okay, something many people don't actually plan for. So I'm now taking the stairs. So here we have actually a box shaped staircase. Okay, so you realize that as you climb it, you find yourself at the same spot but up. So this is the first moving, the second, then I have the third, and I literally have the fourth. Okay, so what I really like about this staircase is that you can actually climb it and don't even feel tired. Okay, just about 3 weeks ago, I was standing in this very spot, actually right here in this very spot, but on the ground floor. And here we are today, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, and I'm standing in the same exact spot but 3 meters above. Okay, which means I'm actually on the first floor. Okay, so literally those who have built storage structures before, you know that this is the most expensive component of a storage house. The slab, the amount of concrete you put in, the cement you invest, the iron bars that you buy, the BRC, the timber that you use that you'll even never have to reuse again, you know, basically a lot of things like that. But anyway, if you're doing a storage house, you have to literally bend low and incur these costs, and then you enjoy the benefits later. Okay, today I'm literally going to be explaining to you the different costs that we've actually incurred in building from the ground floor, that is literally the walling for ground floor, and also the slab up to this stage where we are right now, so that you can literally have an idea if you're building a house of this size or of this kind. Okay, so that you can have an idea of how much you should be looking at in terms of construction. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a small pipe here. Now this pipe is literally meant to drain the water that is going to be in the balcony. Some people don't actually plan for this, but we take it very seriously and very important. Sometimes when it rains, water might actually flood in your balcony, and you want it always be naturally drained through this pipe here and be taken down safely to the ground. Okay, so literally we are going to be breaking down the different costs of building this house up to this stage at least. Okay, in the first video we already did the costs of all that, and we ended at around 34 million if you remember. So now we are here to combine the ground floor, the walling, and also the first floor slab as well. Okay, I have the things already here right here in my hand, so I'll be reading them for you as I explain to you what exactly they were used for. Okay, so first on the list, as you can see, we literally have we bought timber 9x1, and we bought 3x2 timber, and then the other timber was 4x2 timber. Now the 9x1, all those are actually in inches. So when I say 9x1, I mean 9 inches by 1 inch. Now the 9x1 inches is this timber that you see here, this right here. Okay, that is what some people call chirundu in the local language. Okay, so we bought 9x1, then we also we have some 3x2 pieces, then we also have some 4x2 timber. Now the 4x2 timber is also part of the timber that actually helps us in supporting the slab from down. Okay, so all those cost us accordingly. As you can see, the timber 9x1 we need about 300 pieces, each at 7,000, that is 2.1 million. Then we need the 3x2 pieces, we need just about 50 pieces, each at 3,000, that's 150,000. Then for the 4x2 timber we need 85 pieces, each at 4,500, and that brought us to 382,000 shillings. Okay, then we also bought cement. All of you at least know the use of cement. So now the cement includes the cement that was used for walling and also for casting the first floor slab and the beams as well. Okay, of course even these columns for the staircase. Then literally the other thing, we need wire mesh. Now you realize for wire mesh, we have a staircase over here. Usually for staircases we don't actually apply DRC, but for crack control we usually use some mesh. Of course there are different gauges, but we use the wire mesh also to actually play the same function of DRC as we are casting the slabs of the staircases. Okay, so we need that wire mesh. We needed about 5 pieces. We bought a good gauge, each at 35,000, which brought us to 175,000 shillings. Then why 12mm bars? You realize that actually on this project, since it's really a small project, it's really a tiny house, we've used all throughout, we've used wide 12mm bars. There are no 16s, there are no 20s, there are no 32s at all. Okay, so we bought this part has literally taken the most amount of iron bars. So we used about 120 pieces. That includes the ones that actually go into the columns, the ones that actually go into the beams like this one, the ones that actually go into the staircase like this one, the ones that goes into even the slab beams, and also into the ribs in between the max spans, because the slab is literally spanning we have a maximum span of about 4 meters. Yes, initially it was 3.5 meters, but then when we made it 4 meters, when we changed the direction in which we are spanning, the span became 4 meters, so we had to put 2 12s in every rib. I think engineers will actually understand this. Okay, so so we also needed the R7 rings, as you can see on the screen. I hope you're able to see. We need the R7 rings. Now these are actually the rings that I'm talking about. These are the R7 rings. Okay, and this that you see here is actually the binding wire that we use. Of course there are also different types. There is R8, you know, then the others actually use 10mm bars for bigger structures that are having close to 5 floors and onwards. Okay, so then we needed DPC, we need DPM. Now DPC and DPM are almost literally the same thing, but they just come with different gauges. It becomes DPC, damp proof course, when it's actually going to be used for walls. If I'm able to see here, at the base of every wall, you can see that we put some bit of polythene, which is actually the damp proof course. Okay, then when we are casting this slab, remember right below this slab is actually timber work. Now right above that timber work there's actually a DPM. It's a damp proof membrane that we actually use so that water does not leak so much and drain out of the slab before it hardens enough, before the chemical processes that make it hard actually happen. Okay, so these are literally for retaining the water to stay around and make the concrete much stronger. You realize that even after casting the concrete, we have to keep watering the slab, we have to keep watering the beams until they finally get all their strength. So literally for the first 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks, we literally have to be watering them so that they can actually reach their ultimate strength. Okay, so we needed hoop iron, we needed nails. Those are quite obvious. Then we needed hoop iron. Now hoop iron is actually this, which many local people actually call payan. Okay, this is hoop iron. Now when we are building these walls, after every 3 to 4 courses we add hoop iron so that we can actually bind the walls together into the columns. Okay, I wish I had a video of that, but unfortunately I actually don't. So we needed about 8 rolls of hoop iron, that is 45,000 each, which brings us to 360,000 shillings. Then we needed poles. Now poles, we have labeled them G1, grade 1 and grade 2. These poles are actually of different thicknesses. They are poles that we need to just hold the people as they are building. Of course, an example is that when you are building a wall of this height, for example, you realize the height is not enough for people to reach up to around 2.7 meters, 3 meters. Okay, so we have those poles that are used as scaffolding. Okay, now those ones are actually 3,000 shillings. Then there are poles that are actually going to hold the slab that are as thick as just like these ones that you can see here. Okay, Now those ones are the ones that I use to hold the slab, because the slab is really has a lot of self weight, so it's important to use stronger pieces of poles. Okay, so we have G1 and G2. G1 we needed 50 pieces, and G2 we needed 150 pieces at those prices that you can see on my paper. Then we need hollow blocks, 6-inch blocks. The hollow blocks are actually there. We bought quite a number, but they actually remained, so when we are costing for the first floor, I think it's going to be much less, because we already have enough blocks that are going to take us. Then we also have an excess of max spans here. These max spans can also be used for construction, for partition walls. Okay, so that those are not to be wasted, they're going to be used for some of the walls. Okay, so 6-inch hollow blocks, 2,200 of them, and each of them was at 2,200 shillings, which brought it to 4.84 million. Okay, so as you can see on the list already, we have these things that actually kind of alarming. So we have the hollow blocks, which are 4.8 million. We have the iron bars, which are 5.1 million. Then we also have the cement, which is actually 3.29 something million. Okay, so we have conduit pipes. These conduit pipes are basically for wiring. Okay, you can see here where they're actually collecting right here. Okay, these are going to be for the electric wirings and installation. They were already cast in situ in the slab. Okay, this is very important. Some people actually forget them, and they have to do very deep chiseling on the slab, which is quite costly, and also compromises on the strength or the structure configuration of the building. Of course, there are different gauges. Some of them are weak. Like when you're actually going to do the ceiling, there are those which are a bit weak, but when you use weak ones and then you finish casting the slab, you realize that as you're casting the slab, some of them might actually be compressed, and you might not be able to pass a wire through after you finished casting the slab. Okay, so it's better to use a very good gauge. Okay, just like this one. You see, even when you press, there's nothing, there's literally no reaction. Okay, that is very sensitive. So so we also bought some PVC pipes. Those are the ones that you can see here. One was for draining the balcony, like you see, and another one is here. It's going to drain the balcony at the top. Okay, there are still more down there. Okay, so we also bought, so with all those there are some other miscellaneous things like transportation and offloading. You know, when they bring the blocks, some people have to offload them, or when they bring things from the hardware, some people, you know, it's not really usually part of the labor for construction, but you know, things like that, transportation of things here and there. Okay, so those are miscellaneous. We did not include them. I hope to include them later on. But then we also have max spans. Max spans, right now we can't see the max spans because they're already under the slab, so we literally can't see them, but just for a sample, you can see them right there. And I'll also be sharing with you a video where we actually had those max spans, where we recorded when we were actually doing that slab work. Okay, so all that being said, this brings us to a total of 29 million. I hope you're able to see 29.9 million. Now, bringing forward the total in the previous video, which was at around 34 million. So now we are actually at 64 million Uganda shillings. Okay, if you can convert to dollars, please use the current rate and do some conversions. But anyway, that was it for now. I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys who were fearing to do construction are now getting more and more confidence, because literally this is the most expensive part of building a storied house. Beyond this, we will need just about 15 million, because we actually have a flat roof. So we need just about 15 million, or slightly less or slightly more, to actually finish the upper floor and also the roofing as well. So literally the shell of the house is estimated to end between 75 million, between 75 and 80 million, just around there. Anyway, we'll be showing the costs as well as we get to that stage. Otherwise, thank you very much guys for watching, and please have a good time. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If you are still a foreign subscriber, thank you for following, and please comment on what you think about this video and what you would want us also to feature in this video. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good time. I'm DaWinÄi.